I want a kid to like start playing guitar again because they saw our show and thought that's so cool. I want to play guitar. Or like I want to be able to like be the face of. It doesn't matter where you're from. If you just really love what you're doing and put your head down, who knows? Like in 5 years, we may be playing a stadium and we won't even realize like our show went from 1,000 people to 30. What? Like 30,000 people like went because I think it's just all of our mentalities is just like keep working, good things will happen. Just the only thing that we have control over is how good we are individually and as a group. So grind it out.
There's a taste in my mouth that I try to explain.
Would you guys consider yourselves a boy band?
Yes, we're a band of boys. So
yes, by default.
We're definitely by default we're a band of boys. Yeah. Thanks for having us, man. I mean, it's crazy how internet friends meet like this now.
Seriously.
Yeah, big fan of the podcast, man. You're killing it.
So New Friends is the name of the group, right?
Yep, that's
so,
us.
So quick rundown. Can you guys each introduce yourselves?
I'm Cole.
And what you guys do as well.
I play the guitar and produce the music.
Aiden. I play the keys and write songs.
I'm Stefan, and I'm the singer, and I produce a little bit and write a little bit. Not as good as this guy, but that's me.
And I'm Conrad. I produce and play whatever needs to be played, I guess, at the time, and do some writing with Aiden. I mean, again, we're gonna be hyping up Aiden a lot when it comes to writing. He's an unreal writer, like unreal. So definitely all of us are flourishing just being around a guy like that who's really good, just becoming better every single day. So it's a good time. Yeah, hype him up a little bit.
Likewise, buddy. Likewise.
How long have you guys been a band for? Where did it start? Just a quick little rundown.
We met 3 years ago now. We met at a school called Fanshawe College in Canada, London, Ontario. We went to a music business program called MIA. It's Music production business, yeah. Unreal program, amazing teachers, connections we got out of that program were nuts. And Aiden and Cole were writing Purple Candy, and they came up to me and were like, hey, you're going to sing on this. And I was like, all right. I don't even think I listened to the song. And I was just like, it was so in your face. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So yeah, and then I listened to it, and I was like, 100% I'm in.
Okay, so at first it was just you three, right?
Yeah, it's like we met, and then 2 days later we had a song, and then we were like, oh, I guess we're a band. And I guess we're new friends, so we're new friends.
Cool. And then when did you come along?
So I was always friends. Actually, it's funny because the three of them were in the band, but I became friends with individually each person. Like, it wasn't like me hanging out with the band. It was like, I was friends with Aiden, and like Stefan and I would always go out and have drinks. And then Cole and I would always just like, every time we see each other in the halls, we'd just sit down and just talk. And then eventually Cole started working on some music that I was working on. And we kind of eventually realized, wait, everyone's got Conrad around.
Conrad was like always the intelligent dude in our lecture halls who would be saying like tons of great shit that I was like, this guy knows, but I just didn't talk to him for the whole first year for whatever reason. And then we became buddies second year. And by, this year, I guess, he joined the band probably a year ago now almost.
Yeah, it's the year anniversary. So the guys were working with a bunch of other producers and stuff like that because Purple Candy was so good that, the profs at our program were dishing out, like different producer opportunities just to, see where, it's a new band, right? So where can they go kind of and have some like mature producers to help out? And then I was working on some stuff actually when I was out here last time. I was working on a solo record, and then I sent some of the solo record off to like all three of them. And
it's a banger, man. It's a good EP.
It was all right. Yeah, I'm a fan of it for sure. But
it's kind of cool because all of us like played tiny parts in the EP. Like I did like a piano track, Cole did like a guitar solo, one of the songs. Stefan did like backing vocals.
So I did that record, and I guess the three of them were like, we could try maybe having a producer that's younger and kind of also wants to make the same kind of music that we want to make, and we gave it a shot last September, and we started
Never
working.
looked
It
back.
clicked. Yeah, we never looked back. It clicked, and then eventually it just got to the point where it was like, dude, it's not even like if you joined the band, you'd look weird and out of place. Like it looks like you belong. You might as well just put your face on the work that you're also doing, right?
Yeah, we came to Conrad with like we were like, oh, like we'll do like a 2 or 3 song trial and see how well we work. And then we made one song and we were like, all right, we were in the band. Like it wasn't even a question. We just put him in right away.
It was also funny too because when we were still in the program, one of our profs was like, "Oh, like you should have Conrad join the band," and we're like, we both were like, "Nah," like, yeah, we were like, we got our own things, and then he knew all along, yeah.
It was undeniable. It was meant to be. And so far, it's been 2 songs, right, since you joined the group that you guys have actually put out.
Since Conrad, yeah, two songs, and then we have.
So he has one song more on the way. He has one song left. He's for sure stay, right?
Yeah, he's staying. Yeah, he's still on trial. He's still on trial.
It was like an audition kind of thing.
No, so obviously we've been, 2 songs that got released, but we've been working on so much music together, and I think also having the ability to also be friendly in like a really, really adolescent time of like a band's career, like to be able to have conversations like friends would do and then see how we can implement that into songs. Cause writing music is a very personal thing, right? Yeah, like you can dive into some pretty deep, dark places like of your past. And I think it's really nice to be able to not only like have a producer or have a group of guys like helping out with a record, but also like a group of friends, right? Like it's a safe environment. There's no judgment. We're able to really dive in deep, which is great because the best music comes from the, deep down in here.
You guys can tell each other when something's good. And I think a lot of times like artists, creatives, they have a lot of doubts within them. They'll make something and they'll second guess it. They'll be like, oh, maybe this isn't that great or whatever. But as soon as you have someone else in the room, then all of a sudden that just automatically you can say, okay, let's work on that right there.
It's a trust thing. And I think that's one of the most important things that a lot of people kind of don't pay attention to. But you have to have trust. This is a business of a lot of people trying to take advantage of a lot of people. And, you always hear everyone say, oh, the entertainment industry, man, like the least you could do is have the immediate group of people you work with every day have a strong trust with each other, right? Like that's huge.
Yeah, and I think honestly Conrad joining the band too has helped with just all of us like opening up to each other and becoming more comfortable. Like obviously we've all been friends, but now like as cliche as it sounds, like we're more like brothers now, and it like helps us like talk about just our problems together and stuff.
Like you're saying, it's like it's hard to sometimes as a solo artist, you're kind of doubting your ideas. And with the 4 of us, like if one of us will have a good idea, and sometimes like everyone else is like, I don't know, but then they'll just keep pushing for that one idea. Or on the opposite side, someone comes up and they're like, I don't know, like I have this idea, but it's like not that good. But all of us were like, no, like this is sick. And we're like, it's good to have 4 brains to be able to be like, this is it. Like it's not going to go another way. This is how it's going.
Yeah, like the closer we've gotten now, the more we understand how important like having hard conversations is. Even like when we really don't want to talk about something.
Even outside the music. Like
yeah, anything that's going on in our lives, like talking about those things not only makes us closer, but it also makes better music. Because I mean, we're writers, we're producers, we're musicians, right? So we're always taking those experiences and putting them into our songs.
Going back to Purple Candy, by the time you got involved, were the melodies, was everything pretty much there already?
So Aiden wrote Purple Candy on his own after a long night, and then Cole started producing it, and then I came in the picture and put some vocals on it, and then we added another part to the end and kind of tweaked. There was an old verse that was just really not good, but we ended up changing it, and then it came together in the end. So it was pretty much like 3/4 done.
Okay, I guess my main reason for asking that is like for you guys, when you guys were in the room together, automatically from the beginning, did you guys know we're definitely not going to sing it ourselves?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, we were like, we got to find a singer because like we both knew, even as first-year college students, we just knew it was a good song, but we couldn't sing. So Stefan and Cole were like playing. They had like a performance class, part of our like our college thing, and Cole and Stefan were like in the same group, so they performed in front of our class, and I was like, bro, like this guy can fucking sing, like
Gotcha.
let's get him. And then
It was that was my first time singing in front of like pretty much anyone. Like,
Oh, really?
when I was younger, I was so scared to sing in front of. I would walk around my house singing in funny voices, and I remember my mom taped a $100 bill, and she was like, "You're gonna get this bill. All you got to do is sit on the piano and sing a song." And it sat there for I think like a year and a half. It literally sat there.
really,
Damn.
I wouldn't do it. I was so nervous.
didn't you
And-
black out during the
yeah,
performance?
so during that performance was my first time singing, and towards the end, I started blacking out. My vision just started tunneling, but I just played through it, and I guess like it worked in the end. But that was my first experience. I guess it was kind of like my little initiation.
So going back also for like any songwriter watching right now, I guess from your guys' perspective, or producers that like making music, they can write a whole song themselves, right? Like for you guys, how did you guys know it was a good song? Did you guys make a demo with your guys' own vocals and then just said, imagine even better vocals on top of it? Or what was the process like to actually picture the song?
Honestly, we kind of were just like making the song for fun, and then like we knew it was good, but we were just kind of like, I remember one of the first days, Aiden was like, "Oh, do you want to be in the band?" I was like, "Sure." So then like, if you're a band, so you just make music, right?
Yeah.
So Aiden had this song, and we were writing it, and then we got Stefan singing it, and like once we had like the chorus down, we're like, "Yeah, this is like really good."
Yeah, I had played in some bands in high school too, and like, we were making music. We weren't necessarily making great music, but when that song like kind of came about, I had been writing a lot after like a breakup, and there was like a lot of bad songs that I just knew weren't good. And so when we landed on Purple Candy, and I kind of ran it by a few friends like in the program too, there's like, this is like really catchy, and we could do something with this. So once Stefan started singing on it, that's when I was like, holy fuck, like this is good.
Well, with like producing and writing, we're working with so many amazing people that want to just like tag along and just see if they can, add anything and help out. And one of the greatest mentors that we have now is Brad Delson from Linkin Park. He's been unreal, as well as Danny Byrne. And the one thing that we learned from them recently that stuck with us, and I think it goes a long way for anyone who's writing music or producing, is if it's a good song, it'll be undeniable, right?
Exactly. That word has been like stuck in our head lately. Undeniable. It's just something Brad said. And
I think Rick Rubin actually
said it to
him. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was undeniable. And
but that was the first time we heard it. Right?
yeah, and with a song like Purple Candy, right? The writing is so undeniable. The melodies are so undeniable that it's almost like a treat when a good vocalist sings those words and those melodies, because you want to have the best song that you can have. And sometimes people get lost in like, oh, my voice isn't good enough, or oh, maybe the production isn't good enough. But if it's undeniable, and it doesn't, everything after is like the cherry on top, right? Like having an incredible vocalist like Stefan come on, that's a cherry on top to something that's already incredible. If someone covered your song, right?
Yeah.
If some random person who doesn't sound like the singer of the original covered the song, does it still move you, and does it still impact you? Because if it's a good song, it 100% will, no matter who does it. You just need to find the right person, so that there's a high standard for listening to those words. It's like, okay, this is how they should be said. This is how they should be saying.
Yeah, and like given the opportunity to, learn and listen to these influential people who, we grew up idolizing, also gives you a lot of encouragement too, right? When they're on board with what you're doing, like that's pretty special, I think.
Very special. Yeah.
Did you guys make a lot of these connections like while still in school, before you guys were already in the band, or do you guys see like a lot of people now reaching out or now wanting to be a part of everything you guys have going on after the new music stuff?
Connections happen
friends.
like all the time, so fast, so randomly. So of course things did start in college, where like our professors were people that we still idolize as well, like just incredible people and who have had incredible careers. And everything has kind of just snowballed from that as the music's gotten better. And
What was the first lecture with one of our profs? He said, "Do you give a shit?"
it was just written like you
that
come
was
into the
it.
lecture hall, and he's got like just like
Yeah.
it's like a Microsoft slideshow where it's just like the preset is like the like the old
regular-
slideshows,
the faded
Comic
background,
Sans.
yeah,
It just
Comic
says, "Do you
Sans."
give a shit?" I'm like,
Picture of it because I really thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm coming into college and paying for that. And then he turns out to be like the guy who, you know, helped me so much in college. I almost dropped out if it wasn't for this guy. And it's just like, man.
And in that,
We also we wouldn't be a band if it wasn't for him either.
Yeah, his name's Mike Roth. We're not going
Yeah.
to keep calling him this guy.
True.
His name's Mike Roth.
We had made Purple Candy, and then we put it out, and then we just kind of sat on it. And we went into class, and like Mike had asked us like, what's going on with you guys? Like, what's the deal? And we were like, oh, like, I don't know, like, we're kind of just like letting it ride or whatever. He's like, so what are you guys? Like, we were like, oh, like, I don't know. And he was like, no, you're a band. He was like, you're going to be a band. And like right then and there, we were just like, all right, I guess we're a band, boys.
Yeah, through him and even through our other professor who was like the head of the program at the time. His name's Dan Broadback. He pushed me a lot, and I talked to him a bunch about learning about producing and just working on music in general. And he also like put us in touch with another band or guy from London where we're from. His name was Luke Rose, and he produced us for a couple songs and taught us like so much. He helped Stefan a lot with his singing and his voice.
and like one of those big things about, like you were going on about producing and writing and how do you know? And I feel like right now, you know, our entire goal is to kind of be proof that if it's a good song and you really care about what you do and you do give a shit, those opportunities and those connections will come to you. You will attract people that can help you, right? Like, a lot of people get caught up in like, okay, you know, I need to make like this kind of post with this kind of thing and then send it off to 6 different like publishing agencies, pay 10 grand every month for my song to get pushed out. But good music will always find its place. And that's one thing that we've kind of, it's been a lot of pressure, but also a lot of relief in the same way, because the pressure of us trying to fabricate some kind of thing that's, you know, this massive image of like, oh, like, okay, buzz your hair and like do this and that, and then like see if that gets likes, right?
Yeah.
We realized, okay, let's find the really cool shit about us, right? Like, every single one of us is like a cool person. At least I like to think we're all right, guys. We're all right, guys. It's like
We're all different from each other.
yeah, we're very different. But it's like
We all get along very well at the same time.
it's like find that thing that makes you. Hone in on it. And then just focus on music. Focus on making a good song, because if you attract the crowd that will get you to a music career, your music needs to be there if you want to have that crowd come in. If you're worried about everything else and you're not focusing enough on the thing that matters, the people who come at you are people who aren't there for what you wish they were there for, right?
True.
So that's like the biggest thing, I guess, that we've learned recently with building connections, is that good music will find its place. Make sure that the music is all there. Everything after that brings people into a world outside of the song, right?
Yeah, that's true. And like at the end of the day, you guys want to be known. You guys, as much as you guys probably want to be known like as a person, you guys also want the music to be heard most at the end of the day, right? And it's like, for example, recently I saw this headline of this this artist that he like got gold hair implanted or something like that, and like all the talk, like everybody's talking about him, like all the TV channels, media is like picking up everything like crazy.
Talking about the chains?
Yeah, the chains,
saw that.
right? And then it turns out I go to his Spotify right now. He doesn't have like a single song with more than 10K plays, and I'm like, he has like 60,000 followers, and he has like hundreds of thousands on his music videos on YouTube, which doesn't monetize as well as
wild.
Spotify. So then it's like,
Brand that people are liking. It's just
Exactly.
like, maybe his music isn't. I haven't listened to it, but I know you're talking.
yeah. So it's like you guys definitely don't want to be known for the gold hair, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
I could look pretty good with some chains
To
hanging
each
off
their
my
own,
head.
you know. Like if that's you, like I mean, do your thing, man. If that's what
True,
you want to
yeah.
be known for.
That's
But
what-
for us, it's like the music, and the music comes first, and obviously the relationships and the team around us, making that our number one priority almost. I'd say.
Yeah,
Like, with the music.
again, it's one of those things that if you found what makes your personality unique, you know,
It's like
'cause
every time Conrad talks, a dog's like, I'm gonna fucking.
it's like
No,
what-
really.
whatever makes your personality unique and things that you like and things that you see that you like and you connect to, like definitely exploit those as much as you can. Like make sure that you get them on the forefront, see if they're good, see if they're bad, see if they work for you or not. But just I think the conversation that most artists, because the art world is filled with so many things, right? You're filled with so many different avenues of like, okay, well, I need to worry about also like, okay, if I have a song come out, where's the music video? Okay, if I have a music video, I need photos from that music video to post, right? Like there's so many things that go through your head as an artist. So it's like, okay, find the things that you like and that represent you the best. And if you closed your eyes and listened to the song, what do you see, right? If that's who you are, hone in on it. But make sure you don't get distracted from what really matters, I guess, is the kind of the gist of this whole little spiel is like focus on what matters. And what matters is if you are a painter, what does your art look like? Okay, if you are a musician, is your music consistently getting better? Are you evolving musically, or are you kind of putting it on the back burner because you're getting distracted by the other things that come along with being a artist, right?
True.
Which also we realized, like, going off what you said, like, is your music getting better? Like, we realized if we're separated for like a month or 2 months, we almost backtrack and lose like where we're at. Like, we have to just keep putting the work in consistently and like always just working. And with that, our music just gets better and better each time. Like, I feel like every time we make a song, it's like, wow, like this is better than the last one. And then it's just like uphill all the time, as long as we're putting in work.
So right now in Canada, what's the hip thing to drink over there? Like, are hard seltzers making as much of an impact over there?
Oh yeah. I feel like seltzers is like the best alternative right now to a beer, right? And like everyone, especially like our generation, we pretend we're health conscious, even though like most of us vape and smoke, right? But it's like still like everyone wants to be like, you know, no one posts their burger. Most people post now their smoothie, right? Yeah, so facts. I feel like the seltzer was the answer to like the modern day casual drink, you know, because with a beer, I feel like beer hasn't died though. Beer's still kicking it.
Beer will
tequila,
never die.
Yeah, tequila.
Tequila is where it's at.
We got our Smirnoff though. You know,
Tequila?
everyone's.
Oh, I could drink tequila all day. Oh, actually, I couldn't. Yeah, when I go out.
Not when we have to do a podcast.
No, yeah, but yeah, just kind of interesting of like where everything's going. Yeah, like you said, like people are into the healthier alternatives. It's like if you don't smoke cigarettes, everyone's like, ew, cigarettes now. But then it's just like,
Not as healthy.
yeah, you're still doing vaping. Yeah,
And then vaping, yeah, it's like either way you're pounding something into your lungs.
How
You know?
how influential has the Nelk Boys been out there?
They're
In your guys'
way
opinion?
bigger here.
Wait,
Yeah,
no,
okay, so Nelk started
I
off.
feel like I have a love-hate relationship with the Nelk Boys. 'Cause It's
Yeah.
like you kind of like want to love them, but you're like, don't.
But they've
These guys are just
they've impacted Canadian culture.
Dude, they used
Sorry,
to.
they've impacted American culture by making Americans say Canadian things, which I think is the most hilarious thing out of all of it.
The original pranks they would do were like at the Canadian universities, like,
Yeah.
like 20, 30 minutes, couple hours away from us.
Yeah.
Like all these schools. And because they got so big, they just couldn't do those anymore. And that's when they started coming to the States. So they don't feel like they're ours anymore. They just feel like they're everyone's, which is, I mean, that's the goal with
That's
any
the goal.
brand. So like they've killed it, and their full send brand.
But
is
you
like,
got some college fraternity like, you know, attitudes, but then their brand is one of the most successful brands in the world right now.
Yeah.
And like you look like they haven't been monetized on their biggest platform for almost like a few years, like a couple of years almost.
Yeah.
But their brand has become so big that they don't even care anymore because the monetization money is nowhere near the amount they make off of the brand.
Yeah, and then they literally just released their own seltzer themselves. So it's like
I've never had it. Is it good?
what is it called? Lucky Guy? Happy Guy?
Dad. Happy Dad.
Happy Dad. In my opinion,
Happy Dad.
it's probably like the worst one I've tasted so far. but I think
Are you a fan of the Nelk Boys?
I am actually.
Nice.
I'm a
Yeah.
fan of what they've done, but it's just like I think they could sell anything and it could take
But
over.
that's where you want. That with any brand, whether you're like an artist or you're a, you know, just any brand. That's the goal. Is if you were to, you know, take out your phone and just be like, guys, this Sennheiser mic is the best mic I've ever used. Automatically, sales will skyrocket, right? Like that's the end goal. So they've killed it. Honestly, they've been killing it. But again, like you said, they kind of don't feel like they're ours anymore. It's kind of which is which is hilarious because the Canadian mentality is like when any Canadian goes worldwide, instead of it being bitter, everyone's always like, go get them, you know, like our
true.
But
Canadians.
it's definitely different with the Nelk Boys. Maybe it's because like their brand that we're just like, whatever. We'll, just we'll let it be.
What about Nardwar?
Nardwar.
Nardwar?
Yeah. Nardwar's, yeah, he's from
Ha-
Vancouver, right?
Has he had influence? Like I remember, I forgot who I asked. I think it was just like a random person from Canada, or like two people that I met from Canada, and I mentioned Nardwar. They're like, who? And it's just like I don't know if Nardwar just happens to be more of a music thing rather than like a Canada thing.
I think like getting a Nardwar interview would be like a dream come true.
Yeah,
Well,
literally.
he did a TED talk, and it was one of the best TED talks because he explained like kind of how it started, and his whole thing was
Is he always in like that character though?
Yeah, always.
Or is that
always.
just like maybe that's just
who he is.
actually him?
So
Okay.
his whole thing is that he felt, and I'm not, don't quote me on this, but it's like the gist of it was kind of like he felt like people weren't pushing hard enough to get answers or get an interview, because a lot of artists after a show or before a show are not in the mood to do an interview. But his whole thing was he was the only one who, if a security guard was coming by and like pushing him out of the way, he would be ducking under the security guard's arm, like with the microphone pointed, like, no, but Tyler, the creator, what do you think? Like this, you know, and also the research part, because
That's the crazy
the
thing.
research part is
Where he
unbelievable.
like pulls like the wildest. He'll be like, so remember your third grade teacher, Mrs. Green? And there's like, oh, like you know Mrs. Green?
Yeah, no, that's facts.
And
Like
it's like, how the fuck does he find that
yeah,
out?
definitely. Like he was one of the big inspirations for me. Like speaking of like third grade or like I don't know when it came up, but I found like what was it, C-rad?
C-rad.
Can you talk a little bit about C-rad?
Yeah, I think
He
actually
did his
this is-
homework.
well, so
C-rad drummer.
This is honestly like I used to get really cringed out talking about it, but I love talking about it now because all four of us growing up came from completely different backgrounds. So for me, my story was that I started when I was young. So 4 years old, I got my first drum kit, and from there on, like I haven't stopped doing music. So with C-rad, it was kind of this thing on how could I get the experience and kind of my name out in my local city, and my parents helped me a lot.
As a 6-year-old kid.
As a 6-year-old,
you call
so-
it- you take your first name and just make it cool.
Yeah, well, it was a nickname I had when I was a kid.
It's a sick name, bro.
C-rad, thanks, man.
So to our if any of our fans are listening to this and you want to start calling Conrad,
No,
C-rad,
please don't.
let's make that happen.
But it was the first thing my parents thought that I should do, because my parents kind of, you know, they're immigrants, so they were kind of just happy that their kids could pursue something the way that they couldn't, right? So the instant I got my drum kit, my parents' first reaction was get this kid on a stage, and we had no idea what to do. So we made it into a charity event. It was called Drumming for Dreams for the Children's Wish Foundation. And yeah, I'm honestly so grateful for those experiences, because now when I get on stage, it's like a second home, because I've been doing it since I was like 10.
Yeah.
And it was
Dude,
incredible.
There's YouTube videos of Conrad playing at that event, and he's playing a Linkin Park song. So to see it like come full circle, as like now he knows a member of Linkin Park who obviously had such a huge impact on his
me.
life and like inspired him to chase the dream. It's just crazy like how that works.
And that's why I used to hide away from it, but
Brad
now,
from LinkedIn.
Yeah, Brad from LinkedIn. But it's one of those things I look back on now, and I'm just like, that's my thing. That's unique to me. Why am I gonna hide it? You know, why am I gonna like try to bury it? I'm embracing it now. Yeah.
And I
But
think-
don't call me C-rad. Anyone out there?
think every-
if you're not close to me, there
Every
you go.
kid had like a weird first email handle. Or maybe that was just like I had
What was yours?
We're not gonna talk about mine.
No, yeah, but it's interesting. I think it's cool to have like that part of history documented, and people can always look back at it. And I think one of the things, the more like I get into music, the more I learn about musicians, is like everybody has their own story. But for a good amount of artists, like I think the problem with like people that are just starting out, like in their late teens or so, of like they try to compare themselves because of social media to like someone that's been doing it since they were like 5 years old.
Yeah,
but you don't
yeah.
know that. So you're over here being disappointed and not having realistic expectations because you're like, oh, this artist has only been out for 2 years, but realistically they've been singing in the church since they were like 4. So it's just like that kind of gives a
Yeah.
little bit of real perspective on what it is.
Cole, to me, is one of the biggest inspirations because his story, Cole. No, I'm serious.
Huge
No,
inspiration.
Cole is, and before he says what his story, like genuinely, like this, I brag about Cole to everyone because his story is purely it's the epitome of if you work hard and you just outwork everyone else, then you will outdo everyone else. Like it's unreal. Like say how you started.
Pretty much my story is I played guitar when I was like a kid, like maybe a couple times, and I stopped playing because my hands were too small and I was just getting angry at it. And then my friends started playing guitar, and we had a guitar class at our high school, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it, like whatever. And then one of my friends like kind of got good and was playing for like like girls in the hallway, and I'd be like, damn, like I kind of want to play guitar now. So then I started playing again, and then I got into John Mayer, and I was just like so encapsulated by guitar playing, and I would play like 6 hours a day, and I wouldn't actually play for anyone. So then I went away for school, and it wasn't even for music at first. And then a couple years into it, I was like, I hate this shit. Like I want to do music. So I went into the music program. And I was like so terrified because I remember hearing that it was really hard to get in this program. So I was like, I practiced for so long to do this. Like we had what was it called again? Supplemental. And I was like trying so hard. I made it as good as I possibly could. I got in, and I was hyped. And then I was like, on our first day of class, we had that performance class. And our teacher was like, all right, you're going to get put into groups and you're going to have to play. And I was like, I had never played in front of anybody, so I was like shitting my pants that I had to just play in front of our whole class.
Well, we killed it.
Yeah, and also I got into this guy's group, and then our teacher was like, "Yeah, you guys are going next week," and we had to write a whole song.
Yeah.
Because he was like
Cover song?
Yeah, so
it was
either do a
EDM
cover
song that I wrote a long time ago. That we were just
And
like,
we're
okay,
like,
well,
I guess we have
we're doing
to.
this song.
So anyways, yeah, and then people thought I was good, I guess, at guitar.
Because he is. He's real good.
Yeah. But that's like the story of me, like
So he started when he was in mid high school, and a lot of
Yeah.
people, and that's why like when I see people in their like late teens, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, like picking up something new, I always have so much respect for it because it's harder. It's so much more difficult. And Cole is one of the best guitar players I've ever met, and I've met some great players. I a bunch of great jazz players. He's one of the best players I met, but when I found out that he started when he was 16, I was like, well, there's no way. I've been doing this since I was like 5. But he was 16. And then I realized if you call him, he's playing guitar. If you FaceTime him, he's playing guitar.
He's also playing guitar in the middle of FaceTimes. So he's just always playing guitar.
If you live with him, he plays every second of the fucking day.
I would say it's not a problem, a blessing, I guess.
It's an addiction.
I have a problem with like once I'm into something, like that's just like all I think about and do. So I'm not into a lot of things, but the things I'm into, I just kind of do all the time.
That's good though. It's a good thing. You love playing, so.
Yeah, I truly
What's
do.
your story?
What's mine?
Yeah, what's your story? Where'd you come from?
From a
Sorry,
place.
I don't mean to take over your podcast.
You're good.
I don't know. Are we sharing everyone's story? Is that what's going on here?
Why not? Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's run it up.
Yeah. I don't know. I started playing piano when I was younger as well with Conrad, so I think that's where we kind of relate to each other a lot. Is we played in high school bands and stuff like that, and that's when it got kind of serious for me. I really loved baseball. I always was like, oh, I'm gonna play in the MLB, and then that dream died when I was like 14.
What was it?
I just wasn't good enough. But I mean,
You don't
maybe
use,
if I kept going with it,
you don't use a story of I hurt my wrist.
Yeah, man. Like I had to get Tommy John surgery. No. So yeah, high school, kept playing in bands, and then after high school, I started like another duo project with my friend, and he left for school, and I was like, damn, like I love doing this thing, but I just haven't met that group that it's like it all makes sense. And I knew I couldn't do it on my own. Like I didn't like working alone. I liked working in teams. Like I played sports all my life too.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time was going to school in London, which is where we met. and there just happened to be this amazing music program in the city as well. So I was like, yeah, like maybe I'll go there.
So she's the main reason you ended up there.
Not the main. I won't. That's a bit of a stretch.
Hey, shout out to her.
No.
He knew we were waiting there. That's why he came.
Yeah, it was like there was like, oh, I got the best of both worlds. I got dumped the first week of school, and then so I was like, it was a tough time in first year. You know, you're going through a lot of things for the first time, like your first heartbreak or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So I met these guys very early on into school. We stumbled across a song, and we went from there. And I haven't looked back. I love writing songs. And I love making music with people I love. So, yeah, the boys.
There you go. How often are you guys coming to LA right now?
This is our first time.
First time ever.
This was my first time on a plane too.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Were you scared at all?
Honestly, when I woke up in the morning, I was kind of shitting my pants, but like, I'm also terrified of heights, but I took the window seat and it felt like so not real that we were flying that it like wasn't scary at all, and I was
Were you
fine.
just looking at the outside the window the whole time?
Yeah, and I was like, it just like didn't feel real, so I was like, yeah, okay, this isn't real.
All right, now how was he really though?
No, he was. Yeah, he was fine. No, I was.
He's
I
like
was
saying-
I actually pissed my pants the
It
whole
was
time.
like it was like going to a zoo for me because like I love like traveling. So the last time I met someone that has never been on a flight was probably when I was like, you know, like yeah. So watching someone in their 20s first time flying and like. Obviously, as much as I love flying, it was like the most exciting thing for me was just staring at him, just being like, and are you gonna throw up? Is it good? Like, do you like it? Like,
Well, there was a lot of like nervous energy for him before the flight. Like even in the hotel, he's like, "Boys, like we gotta get going to the airport. We gotta be there. We gotta go." And then we get on the plane. He's like, "This sucks. Like this is so dumb. Like this is boring."
well,
I'm a small guy, and like I had no leg room, so I can't imagine like anyone bigger than me like enjoying a flight.
it's crammed, but no, LA's a great spot. Obviously, we met through both of us being out here.
Yeah.
Also, it's too damn hot here.
Well, LA's a great spot because for
I'm
those
wearing a
who are putting in the work, LA is like a gold mine, right?
yeah.
Like it's filled with a lot of hardworking people, right? So if you're a hardworking person, you'll find other hardworking people and things go well. But right now we recently just we're in like a great point in a band's career where, you know, first time meeting management, right? Like a bunch of Zoom calls later, and now we're in LA meeting management, and a team is now being built out here. So
Yeah, it's crazy how like quick the connections just like spider out from each other. Like
Yeah.
one person knows this guy, and then you're in a room with this other guy who knows this other guy, and then
True.
And-
you're hanging out with like
that's what this city's amazing
Yeah.
for. This city like is amazing for meeting people from other people, right?
Yeah,
like
for me, it was definitely like the variety thing of like people that you wouldn't think hang out out here. Like people from all different backgrounds know each other out here, and it's like that's what's really crazy. But for you guys right now, are you guys signed? Are you guys still independent? What's it looking like?
in independent rep, like we have a team.
Okay.
And our team, the one thing that really attracted us to our manager and the rest of the team was that they were the first people who kind of were getting upset at us that we weren't doing what we were supposed to be doing, which is making music. They were
Yeah.
like, you guys are too damn good to be sitting down and answering emails. Like, the least we could do for you is let's just be a middleman for now, you know, see how that goes.
They really pushed us hard, which I'm glad about.
And again, like going back on what we said in like the previous segment, it's like if you are putting in the work and you're focusing on the music, good music will do what it should do.
Yeah.
And that's why with labels, you know, most people's goal is like how fast can we get signed? Like when can we meet an A&R and get signed? Whereas now it's kind of like, well, if the music's good, you don't need a label until you need a label.
Yeah.
And now for us, it's like, you know, would it be nice to be signed? Obviously, like there's so many benefits to it, but it's great to not have that as a set goal now, because now we're comfortable making music knowing that it will always progressively get better and better, and these connections will start coming up, but you can do a lot now. The internet is the greatest record label of all time, right?
Also, it's really helpful for us too, at least, because we don't need people to make the music for us. We can do it all ourselves, which helps us with the management business side of people like not having to like push us to do that. If that makes
Yeah.
any sense.
Were you guys already under management for the last music video you guys shot?
No, so before we met our current management team, Aiden kind of took care of a lot of the business side, which we got to give him props because that's a huge side of the music's business that people don't see.
Yeah.
And Aiden kind of took that weight on his shoulders, and then meeting Rob, our management right now, it definitely took a weight off of his shoulder, but he's still taking care of a lot of the business side because like I'm not really good with that, and I don't know, like that's not my strong suit.
Yeah, for I guess for other like artists or bands right now, like trying to on the come up, like the reality, I guess, to paint a picture like behind the scenes, how much work did it really take to put together that last music video you guys did?
We also, the team that we got involved with did a lot of that, which we're very thankful for them because they did so much.
You have to
and they got in
trust.
contact with us too. So like that also, like we didn't look for anyone.
You got to trust good other creatives. Like if you're not good at something, like if your sole thing is the music, like you can be okay at making artwork and shit, but like go find someone who's better, who's passionate about that, and have them join your team. Like these people, like we're hungry, we're directors, like we went to film school, and they were so fun to work with and so professional, so amazing. Video turned out exactly how we wanted and how we thought.
Yeah, Christy just came up to us with this idea, and we were like, that is the perfect idea for the song. So like we're happy that they're really good at what they do, and like their whole team was amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you again to you guys.
Yeah, it was a great video, honestly.
Thank you.
Right now at the moment, how do you guys feel like the connection with you guys as fans or the following that you guys are building right now? Like, how has the reception been on everything for you guys?
It feels really good. Like I feel like organic, and it's the reach is getting larger kind of each day. Honestly, I would say, like it's cool when we get a message and it's like, we heard this song at the coffee shop.
That
and
makes
like,
that
you're just like, what
those
the hell?
messages.
Like, that's so cool. Or
It's cool to see where in the world that like people are listening to. Like we also got a video of like this girl I think she works for someone at Red Rocks, and like she just put Purple Candy on and sent us a video of Purple Candy just blasting at Red
cool.
Rocks, which was so cool. And again, like the coffee shop thing, like just people always send us things of our song just playing across the world, and it's just such a cool feeling. Like,
and it's gonna feel so much more real when we're actually up on stage playing in these cities that people are listening to, because we came up as a band. We're still coming up as a band, obviously, but we started to come up as a band through this like internet era of like you can make songs, you don't always have to play a million shows but also then the pandemic happened, so we're like, we want to play shows and we want to get on tour, and then we couldn't. So now it's been like years in the making waiting to play these shows, and we're like, holy cow.
I think the pandemic was one of the biggest blessings for us because the fan base started building a bit, and before we got sucked into completely being selfless, because the first thing we care about first and foremost is the people who listen, right? Like, we could get the coolest, TV show placement, but we still think about like, I hope one of our fans is like watching the TV show right now and goes, I love that song, that's my song, like that's my song. And for us with the pandemic, it was so nice because we actually had the ability where most bands other than the pandemic times didn't have, which was before we start putting our love and soul into other people, we should probably figure out how the four of us are together, right? So we had a full year of being able to actually build a bond and like focus in on it. Now I'm so grateful for the pandemic on that term, because we now sit down and we'll have full, like an issue happens, like something bothers one of us that someone else did. All four of us are sitting there, crack open a beer. It's like, what did I do? It's like this. I'm so sorry, man. Like, let's figure this out, right?
Yeah, it's weird like saying that the pandemic was a blessing for us, but it made us stronger. It made us like more unified as a group, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. Like even with their families or their friends who they spent a lot of time with or didn't,
I think it got everybody to discuss things that that we don't normally discuss about? Because I feel like before the pandemic, like truth is a lot of families, a lot of people didn't have time, that they just spent the day together. So I feel like this opened up a whole new world for conversations, like real conversations, where like people could really get together and say things that they have never told each other before. So I think that's one of the real things for sure.
Yeah, going back to the whole like fan thing that you were saying, like other than playing live, which I'm very excited for, I'm super excited to just like meet people across the world that love our music and just talk with them about, I don't know, life or just anything. It's just so cool to like meet people again across the world that love our music.
Have you guys came up with a name for them yet? What do you guys calling
We
your
were
fans?
thinking it's a little cringy, but the Frenzies.
The Frenzies. Okay. The
Frenzy.
Frenzies.
I don't know.
No, wasn't it just the frenzy?
Yeah, we're thinking friend-Z. Kind of like Jay-Z, but
The Frenzy.
our own.
We're still working on this.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely still working on it. The clan.
The clan.
The friend clan.
Okay.
Sumo.
We got Sumo over there barking all day, but it's
This dog is very cute, by the way.
sure is.
But no, right now, like for shows, like how much have you guys been prepping for all the shows? And
Oh, the prep for a pop band, man. Because Aiden and I played in a lot of bands, right? And we're used to the load in, bring your gear. How much do you need? Yeah, no, set it up. And then we sat back and we're like, we have a lot of listeners that when we go to shows, like there's inevitably going to be at least one person at the show that we're opening for, or even if we're like hopefully one day headlining, like that listens to our music. And we're looking at all the bands that we look up to, and we went, wait a minute, I don't think it's as easy as like plug and play.
Yeah.
So this past
We want the songs to sound like they do on the record. You know,
better,
so,
better, and like
Better.
bring an experience to it. So, you know, getting into the world of now playback, right? Because like now we have in-ear monitors like playing a click track, and then before, like for Aiden and I at least, like how many times did we use in-ear monitors with a click track in our lives, right? So the preparation's been insane, but
It's taken like 2 or 3 weeks, and we haven't actually played anything yet.
yeah, like we had a
just-
jam out. Yeah, just setting up takes so long, but thankfully, and this honestly is like the coolest part of it all, our playback guy is our buddy from college. Our drummer that tours with us is our buddy from college, and that's it. Like it's the 6 of us like basically putting on an entire like pop show. It was just 6 friends from college in the end, which is like the best thing ever because it's so cool. It's so cool to be able to bring other people that you admire and care about on board.
Enjoy being around.
Yeah, enjoy being around them is a big factor as well, right?
True. All right, I want to know each of you guys' answers for this question. What's your least favorite thing about being a musician?
Being asked, so what else are you doing? Like the amount of times that because I'm fortunate enough that I managed to save up some money and get my own place in my hometown where I have a studio, and I'm putting in 12 13-hour days like everyone else, and still have people coming up and asking me like, oh, where do you work now? I'm like, oh, like I'm doing this full time, like it's a full-time gig. Oh, so you're not working? Yeah, I think I'm working pretty. I come home and I sweat just as much. Like I'm still working. That's mine at least.
I would say my answer to that question is like knowing that my whole career is based on people loving our music, which is great, but also terrifying. That's like the scariest thing for me, at least.
I think for me, like I've been fortunate enough. My parents and all of my friends have always been like so supportive of like what I do, and like again, like I just started really pursuing a music career like 3 years ago. But even then, like they've always been so supportive and like just there for me. So like for me, I don't really hate anything about being a musician, but what gets me is like what's the next step? Like what is next? And like I'm always on edge, like thinking like what's next? What's next? Like what can we do to bring us to the next level? Like and it's always like on my mind, like thinking, and that's really for me, yeah.
Yeah, I think mine would just be like having to be like emotionally available all the time, because sometimes you just like like you'd rather just talk to your friends or something about it and not like tell the world like here's how I'm feeling. But at the same time, that's the big payoff, because then you realize like, oh, everyone's going through these kind of things, and when a song resonates with a lot of people, it's a really cool feeling. It's like its own therapy. But at the same time, like I have like a love-hate relationship with social media, so I don't always want to be like, hey guys, like our single's out now, swipe up, but you got to do that. Whereas like some professions, you can be more behind the scenes and not have to be the face. So I think being like a face of something is really not for me. But yeah, I don't think I don't like a certain thing about being a musician other than maybe that.
Yeah. Also, like say, like we all get in the studio sometimes, and like not everyone's always like down to work, but sometimes you just like have to fake it. And then like you gotta like really be like, all right, like I might not be in the best mood today, but like I just gotta, like something in your brain just has to kind of change to just kind of be there and be present and
just push through it.
yeah.
Just show
like,
up.
also,
Showing up is part of it, right?
Yeah. It also helps when there's 4 of us. Like someone, like we're not afraid to be like, yo, like quit being an idiot. Like let's go. Like get your head in the game. We're writing a song right now. So that's another thing about having a band that really helps us.
Yeah, like we're asking the hard questions on this podcast here, so I wanted to ask you, what do you think the best smash burger in Los Angeles is?
Smash Burger, like the best burger, or the best actual Smash Burger location, or the best burger in
The
general?
best burger, I guess.
burger.
Best
Yeah.
burger, I guess. I mean,
Because-
Smash is clearly the best. Like that's just without a doubt.
Is that you guys' opinion?
Well, what's the best location? Because we've been in like a few places now, and like he's got his opinion, and
I've got a
I'm
big
pretty
one.
on board with like what is Shake Shack,
Shake
right?
Shack?
Shake Shack's mine.
fire.
Shake Shack's mine. Hands down.
We're big burger boys here.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
burger boys.
we were actually
See.
debating doing instead of
Hashtag
New
big burger
Friends.
boy.
We were thinking of doing Burger Boys.
Did you guys try? Did you guys try In-N-Out?
Yeah. In-N-Out is
Overrated?
overrated.
That's my
Shake
thought.
Shack is better.
When I
Shake
came
Shack.
here for the first time, I remember it being like amazing, but I'd never tried Shake Shack.
Have you guys been to Five Guys?
Oh yeah,
We have that
we
in
got
Canada.
Five Guys. We got Five Guys is number
That's
2
pretty
for me.
good. Yeah.
There's this place called Umami Burger. You guys got to try that.
Umami, yup.
You've tried it?
Yup.
Umami
They were
Burger.
like
You
the
guys gotta
first
try
people
that.
to have the Impossible Burger. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
What's the Impossible Burger?
It's a vegan
It's
burger.
impossible.
Beyond Meat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Beyond
gotcha.
Meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys on TikTok?
We are
Yeah.
at New Friends Music.
There you go. What kind of TikToks are you guys posting right now?
We're posting
lot.
whatever we think is funny. So I guess not necessarily funny. A lot of the times I just post stupid things, like, and the guys are like, "Why did you post that?" I'm like, "Well, I think it's funny." But we're kind of just posting whatever, really. It's not like a,
Yeah, we're not using the trends.
which we probably should.
You guys aren't hitting the wall on there?
We tried it for a bit, and then we had this kind of experience with an A&R rep that we didn't really feel like that was authentic to our brand. Like our thing is like the music, right? So we'll still make them, like it's fun, but we don't want to be like told like, if you don't make this, like, or this is more important than the songs. It's like,
TikTok is
no.
TikTok is if you're sitting at home and you're like, I would love to hang out with the guys. Like that's what we want TikTok to be. Is we want
Yeah.
TikTok to be like the place that, you know, like
Our
our biggest thing
reality
is like,
channel.
like Vine. Like, do you know how many artists I actually fell in love with because they would just post like their days? Like, I love Tyler the Creator, right? Like, I always was a fan of Odd Future when I grew up. The instant Tyler got Vine, I didn't know I could like a guy more because I was like, it's like hanging out with them, right? So for us, the TikTok is like, yeah, obviously it's irresponsible to ignore the fact that TikTok can get you people listening to your music. But our main goal at TikTok is like, I wonder what it's like hanging out with them. Oh, well, just go on the TikTok, and if we posted something, it's like, oh, it's like hanging out with us doing that. Like, that's our big thing.
It's really to show like our personalities and like where we all kind of strive in different areas.
All right. I want to hear everybody's answer. Who do you guys have on repeat right now? I feel like all of you guys would be listening to different things.
Honestly, right now, I've been listening to a ton of the band Camino. They just came out with a new record, and it's incredible. Yeah.
yeah, there's a band named Dayglow that we're going to see tonight at
Dayglow
the
is fire.
Fonda.
Dayglow is fire.
Yeah, we're going to see them tonight.
Oh, really?
The Fonda.
Oh, shit.
You should come.
I didn't even know they had a concert here tonight.
Tonight and tomorrow.
Tonight and tomorrow. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
man.
They're like
Damn, that's
25, 30
crazy.
bucks.
But yeah,
That's crazy.
For me, who do I have on repeat? Mine kind of always changes. I don't know. Like I listen to a lot of like Coin, and Valley and the band Camino, but I also listened to a bunch of EDM. Like before I met the guys, I was like solely EDM for 5 or 6 years.
Damn.
So I like.
You big into festivals?
What's that Supersonic
Festivals?
song?
Have you been to a festival? Like an EDM?
Festivals. Yeah. I've been to Ultra Miami. I've been to like a
Got
bunch
you.
of festivals.
What's that Supersonic
Oh yeah,
song?
there's a song by Skrillex and Noisia called Supersonic.
Oh, man.
And it's like super dark, but like the bass comes in and it just punches you in the throat. It's crazy. Like it's such a good song. But yeah, like these guys. He listened to it, but these guys never really listened to a lot of EDM before I met them, and I've been slowly like
put them on?
shoving it down their throats. Yeah.
Have you guys had that moment where you guys like, all right, we don't want to listen to this no more? Like,
Oh,
so-
100%.
Tons of times,
100%. Sometimes I'll be bumping like hardcore EDM at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and they're like, dude, shut that off. And I'm like, I can't, I don't know. I went through a phase of like just EDM. So I get up at like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work at like 7 o'clock. And I'm like, that's what got me going. And I was like, I was awake and I'm ready to go.
Damn. Shout out to E EDM.
Oh man, I know Sumo.
Yeah, Sumo brought it out.
There's like actually one of the main one of the main reasons I thought maybe I should try producing was solely because I listened to so much music and I loved all of it equally that I was like, maybe I could. Sumo.
Yeah, Sumo. Sumo.
There we
All
go.
right, we're back.
Oh shit.
All right, we're back.
Yeah, back. Okay, so for me, like I listen to so much different genres of music all the time. Like that's honestly like my favorite pastime is just like going on to New Music Friday or Discover Weekly and just checking a bunch of stuff. My Spotify sucks. People hate it because at one moment you're crying and then the next moment you're punching walls. Like, so for me, the Camino record has been huge. I've been listening to a lot of Mount Joy recently, which is one of my favorite bands right now. But yeah, like a lot of stuff. Kind of whatever comes out, I'm on it. Yeah.
What about you? What are you listening to?
Pretty diverse, honestly. I think because of like the whole Kanye thing, I listen to like Donda and stuff like that. But yeah, I like listening to so many different things from like.
Do you like Donda?
From a production standpoint, yes. I think
it's really
production,
good.
It's amazing. Other than that, it's like whatever. But from a production standpoint, I think it's great. I don't know. It's just it's really long. I remember being that day I was listening to it. I was on the treadmill.
I can't do records that are that long, but at least like I would listen to half of it and it was like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I remember that day being like at the gym, just on the treadmill, and I was like, I was like 5 songs in, and I was like, I'm just gonna stay on the treadmill till it's over. All of a sudden, like 45 minutes later, I'm like, let me see.
You've ran a half marathon. You're like, oh.
It should almost be over. All of a sudden, I look at my phone. I'm like, not even halfway there. I'm like, oh fuck this shit.
He
I'm
can
out.
do that because he's Kanye. He can do whatever he wants.
I
He put 40 songs on a record and like.
Donda was to me like I'm a big Kanye stan. Yeah, Kanye like Donda was unreal. Like I love Donda. I love it. The guys know I play Donda songs all the time.
We're coming around to it. I like a lot of at least 3 or 4 of the songs. That's enough for me to say that's a pretty good album.
What are some Canadian artists you guys think are slept on?
Valley could be way bigger.
Arkells for me, but
Yeah, Arkells for sure. Yeah, Drake. I'm kidding.
Most slept on artists.
Certified Lover Boy.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was cool. I think that's probably the fan favorite because of like listening wise. I feel like you could play it like pretty much any time. Like you could be on a jog. Like for working out music, definitely I'd rather play that than Donda. But overall, it's like it was cool. I just didn't see anything new or anything crazy. But other than that, I think it was a good listen.
you got to check out our guy, The Medic.
The Medic.
The Medic.
Medic's good.
It's really good.
Medic.
Slept on. Young Lungs.
Young Lungs, yeah, another Canadian art like Young Lungs is unbelievable. Sebastian, like,
Does Young Lungs, does he have that song Ocean?
Ocean, yeah, that's my buddy, yeah.
Okay, Young
So
Lungs is
Young
fire.
Lungs, like Sebastian's such a good guy. And then another artist who's doing pretty well out of Canada, who actually went to very well.
Versace?
Versace is great.
Wait, he's from Canada?
Yeah, he went to the
went to
same
our
program
program.
as us.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versace's really good. Canada's one of those places that's just like spewing out talent right now.
Yeah, like
People don't know like they're from Canada. It's just like, oh, like this artist is there.
Yeah, yeah.
You think they don't rep it, or what do you think? I don't know. Like for Versace, I don't know if he reps it or not, but I think he's really creative. Like I remember seeing like the videos or like his little promo videos for
So
songs.
funny.
He'd be like playing or something else, and then he just like transforms
Yeah.
blows up or something.
Well,
yeah.
I think I have a theory. And it's that with the American audience, you can't really brag about how much you're from Canada until you get like the core audience, and then people are like past it. Yeah, I feel like because in Canada, everyone knows you're Canadian, right? Like for us, like we know Zach's Canadian and that Lungs is Canadian, right? But I don't know. I don't know if the same traction would happen if it was consistently pushed that they're from Canada in the States. Because for us, like they can, again, like we said with Nelk, any Canadian does great. Every Canadian knows they're Canadian. They go, you go get them, right?
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, like for you guys, we like I don't think like if someone listened to you guys off the bat, they wouldn't be like, oh, they're from Canada.
No, definitely not.
Bieber,
an accent?
Yeah, you
But
guys don't
then
have an
again,
accent.
like-
I've heard you say like 2
Yeah,
words, but other than
I
that, I
also-
haven't really heard an accent from you guys.
I'm from Windsor, which is like all the way at the bottom of Canada. I'm
Okay.
about like 5 or 10 minutes from Detroit. So I'd like to think I took a little of the American culture and brought it to South Detroit, and now I'm bringing it to these guys.
Okay.
yeah, it's odd because, you know, like we all know who's from Canada because like in Canada, it's like everyone makes it known that like this Canadian artist is doing this.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, oh, that's so cool. Whereas also like the market is 10 times the size, right? You guys have like 10 times the population as us. So for us, when a Canadian artist does great, it's a lot more like, you know, you can push through a lot of mess to get to like the news that like this artist is doing great right now. Whereas like out here you got, you know, 10 times the population, which means you got 10 times the amount of artists who are doing great. So that's why we're always aware of who's Canadian and who's not, because it's so much easier to like see.
If they have a hockey puck somewhere in their house, they're Canadian, right? Are you guys all hockey fans?
Die hard.
I played. I was more of a soccer guy growing up,
okay.
so I played soccer my whole life. But I refed hockey, so like it's still. We all. Well, you're Polish.
Wayne Gretzky is Wayne Gretzky God for you guys out there?
There's this new guy. His name's Connor McDavid.
Damn, he's
He's
taking
the
over the
god.
spot.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
And Austin Matthews, but he's American, so we don't.
Damn. All right, what are you guys' thoughts on Justin Bieber?
I mean,
Sick guy.
you gotta respect him. He's got his shit going, and he makes good music. Whether
Yeah, he
people
does.
want to hate on him or not,
I think he does, yeah.
He makes good music, and obviously he's doing something right because he's a billionaire. Maybe not a billionaire, but
I
makes a lot
I
of
feel
money.
like every kid our age like hated him when we were younger because he like obviously got all the girls and was super famous.
yeah.
But like I don't know, now I love his music now.
Yeah, I was always like, whenever someone was like, "Yeah, like listen to this Justin Bieber song," and I was like, "I'm not gonna listen to that. Like, what do you mean? It's Justin Bieber." But now I'm like, he'll come out with a song, and I'm like, "This is
We're all
fire.
like the
This
biggest
is so
fans of
good."
it.
Yeah.
I see that JB tattoo right there.
Which one? I didn't get it.
Well-
I got it.
Well, with Bieber, I think that is one of the things that we look back and we're like, man, how grateful are we that things are happening when they're happening now? Because as incredible of a career he's had, to like, I can't even imagine growing up with everyone watching every single thing you do. I mean, that's such a difficult thing. But the best part is that he proved to everyone what kind of person he is, because look at him now. He's the #1 artist in the world. The second artist in the world is 11 or 12 million monthly listeners away. Like, that's not even like a close gap.
Guys on the Balenciaga ad on Hollywood Boulevard, like
He
That's
grew
cool to
up
see, yeah.
he grew up 20 minutes away from where I grew up. So everyone was always supporting him, but it was always like watching, like when things were going bad, like no one was actually like upset. It was more just like not disappointment, but just like, oh man, like I hope he gets better. So as like the Southern Ontario fan base, it was kind of just like he was like the guy who like made it, and everyone was so proud of this kid. And to watch him now in the position where he is now, where he lives with his wife, like, you know, again, 20 minutes from where I grew up, and he was walking around the local mall a couple times and no one's barging at him and like snapping photos. Like it was almost like we welcomed him for like a month, and it just made me realize like I'm so proud to be Canadian, because like that's the kind of culture that we love, right? It's just the fact that we're always understanding, right? Just, you know, move on, get to the next thing, be a better person, and good things happen.
Hey, shout out to Canada.
Shout out to Canada.
For you guys, all right, before we go, where do you guys see yourselves in 5 years from now? Where's New Friends?
5 weeks is even.
Coachella up the road. Coachella Valley.
Where would I love to see? I would love to see us playing some big stadiums in 5 years. It would be sweet. In a shorter, like, give us a year. I would love to be within a year opening up for some artists that we all listen to, like Dayglow or Valley.
That'd be dope,
Coin.
yeah.
Like it'd be so cool to just open up for artists that I've only been listening to for 3 years, but that I've been listening to for 3 years.
Yeah.
I would say that I would love to start playing shows like across the pond and in the UK and stuff. Like
That would be
crazy.
sweet. Yeah. I would love to break outside of North America.
Turn global.
Like South America, I know like fans in South America are diehard, and like same as like Asia, the fans are crazy. Like they love you. Like they will die for you. Literally. I would love to see someone get a tattoo of New Friends.
Hey,
That's
five
what,
years,
within
yeah.
5 years, someone in the world is gonna have a New Friends tattoo other than me.
Wait, you have a New Friends tattoo?
No, but I'm gonna get one.
Good one.
All right, hey, there you
5
go.
years, man. That's a. What about where are you? Where are you thinking 5 years, Aiden?
I just want to be like laying the pavement for our legacy, whatever that legacy is. It's like I don't necessarily need to be playing the biggest show in the world, but if like a couple thousand people are connecting to our songs at shows every night and they're coming up and shaking our hands and talking about how the songs impacted them and stuff like that, like that's cool. Like, I'd love to be on the biggest stages in the world. That's obviously a goal I think all of us have in the back of our head. But yeah,
5 years from now.
slow and steady, right?
5 years from now, you know, I've just been working, and every time I just put my head down and worked, good things happen. I meet guys like this, you know, we make good music, and I think 5 years from now, I know that the four of us are going to keep our heads down and just keep working, keep locking in, but I think the main thing is just I want to be able to do what, you know, the artists that I listened to growing up, I want to be able to do that for kids again. Like I want a kid to like start playing guitar again because they saw our show and thought that's so cool, I want to play guitar, or like I want to try writing music because you guys, like I saw you guys live one time, or I saw your song and heard your song and I wanted to like try writing. This is where I'm at. Like I want to be able to like be the face of, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you just really love what you're doing and put your head down, who knows? Like in 5 years, we may be playing a stadium and we won't even realize like our show went from 1,000 people to 30. What? Like 30,000 people like won because I think it's just all of our mentality is just like keep working, good things will happen. Just the only thing that we have control over is how good we are individually and as a group. So grind it out. Just grind it out.
It's fire. For everybody watching, where can they go follow you guys?
Our Instagram is probably our biggest thing, and then listen to it on all platforms. We're at New Friends Music on Instagram. TikTok, I think, is the same
New
thing.
Friends
It's pretty
Music.
much all Twitter and all that.
Yeah.
stuff.
Cool.
Spotify, just look up New Friends.
There you
You'll
go.
see a beautiful picture of us.
And new stuff coming out soon. We're pumped. It's
Cliche thing every band says.
but I mean, well, it's a good thing. Imagine if a band came in and said, you know, like this next single's probably gonna be meh, but like wait until like the album, right? Like,
Yeah, like, actually, this is our last day as a band. We're done.
We're taking some leaps with these next singles. So I think they're a little different from our other ones, but they still tie together. But they're more. They're it's very biased, but they're very good.
Hey, there you go. All right. Well, thanks for coming, you guys, and I hope you guys have
Thanks so much for having us.
you.
man.
have a great journey, guys.
Thank you.